What's up? What's up? Welcome to the South African Americans live, or the real lives of South African Americans. Uh, our upcoming show. This is our live show. I am your host for today, Khalees. We got brother Dr. Assad Al Malik in the building.
Whoa, what's going on, my brother? How's it shaking? Pork chops and bacon.
Hello, man. Today is a special day, a sad day, but a special day. Um, so I had to come in with my Malcolm X glasses on today because they were good
All
friends.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
um,
brothers. Yeah, blood brothers.
for sure, for sure. Long live Muhammad Ali, man. Such a impactful, amazing figure. He was actually a friend of the family. My mother used to date Muhammad Ali, and it's crazy because I was so young.
Wait,
I didn't.
mama used to date Muhammad Ali?
Yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
I got yeah. Hold up, you froze up. Let's see. Um, yeah, man. I got pictures of her in his training camp. My uncle with him. He called. My grandmother didn't believe her, and he had her call. She had him call my grandmother on the phone. Uh, and yeah, man. So it was crazy, but I was so young. I didn't understand, the magnitude of that. And when I got older, she told me how real he was, and I understood the activism that he was doing. He risked going to jail, right? When he didn't want to go
Yeah,
fight, he risked and what millionaire boxer, would risk their freedom for their people right now? You know what I mean? If we
yeah,
could name whoever of the champions now, would risk that. So he was definitely for the people. And I loved when I saw in the movie when he went to South Africa, and like it was
yeah,
just like a lot of things that was just very touching about the brother. And
yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see. Yeah, we'll never see somebody like that again. Truly a legend. Truly a
Yeah.
legend.
He was the greatest of all time, not because of what he did in the ring, even though what he did in the ring would be sufficient. It would suffice. But he was the
Wow.
greatest of all time because of what he did outside of the ring. You know,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
strange because white folk now love Muhammad Ali, but they didn't love Muhammad Ali then. They didn't love Muhammad Ali until very late in his life. Then he
Mhm.
became this American hero, and it's strange how they twisted that narrative. But the Muhammad Ali we love, the Muhammad Ali that rose to endear the hearts of millions of Black Americans was the Muhammad Ali of the Nation of Islam. It was the
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali who was with Brother Malcolm. It was a Muhammad Ali who was a staunch, let's go back, he was a staunch follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and calling white people devils and saying that the black man is God. We get caught up on, they call white folk devils, but the Nation of
Right.
Islam's theology is that the black man is God, and this is what the Honorable, I'm sorry, what Muhammad Ali was wearing, like wearing so proudly this badge of the Nation of Islam, and
Yeah.
this almost black supremacy, black supremacist ideology. That's the Muhammad Ali, and we remember him lighting the Olympic torch and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not the Muhammad Ali that Black America felt. We love that Muhammad Ali in his older age and wisdom
Right.
and all of that good stuff.
Right.
But remember,
Yeah.
Muhammad never left the nation of Islam. He never left.
Yeah. Yeah. He never left.
Yeah. Powerful brother. Powerful brother.
Yeah, man. Um, I think, yeah, man, you made a great point. You know, we love America loves you when they can spin the narrative and then when you're safe. So once he got sick,
Right.
they started to love him, right? And
Once he
um,
once the point that he no longer was. Uh-oh.
right, right. And I
But
just
I'm
want to
sorry,
let you,
it's a little delay. It's a little delay.
yeah, I'm about to say you lagging a little bit. I don't know if we could what we could do about it.
Well, I
I
think the
just
best thing to do is we're just gonna have to wait to each other's pauses to respond.
got it, got it. So yeah, so like you were saying to your point, yeah, they liked him later on when he was no longer a threat. Um, he was definitely ahead of his time. The things he was doing, it wasn't popular. It wasn't no social media. You wasn't getting no clicks for that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just for the gram. Then if you were fighting, you really had to be willing to risk it all, right? And and there ain't no awards for that other than the impact on the people that he left, and that's how you knew he was true. Um,
Yeah.
it was another point you made that I wanted to hit on. He was in the nation for sure, um, which I loved when I saw him take his shahada. I keep going back to that Will Smith movie, like a lot of stuff that I knew already, but watching the movie and how he transformed into that character, it did feel like I was watching Ali at certain points. I forgot that it was just a movie. Um, it really, really, really gave me insight on who he was. And Ali loved the ladies too. I would say that he was
Absolutely.
he was definitely,
Absolutely.
he married them. He did it the right way. I think he did it the right way.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
he loved the ladies. And I think the ladies love Muhammad. Before it was ladies love LL, they love Muhammad. I wanted to point something out because so this is basically it was my master's thesis. This book called Bismillah on Bismillah and Bean Pies. And it is the history. Well, it is the subtitle is how Black Americans crafted an Islamic expression through nationalism. Um, and you mentioned the movie, and the reason why I brought this up is because I think it's important. Besides the fact that this is a book that we can understand how Black Americans became Muslim, because I think a lot of times when I'm talking to my South African family, they look at Islam as the Arab religion, right? And that is not how Islam comes to Black America. It comes from West Africa originally, but the origin story of African American Islam is truly in the Nation of Islam, which is a Black nationalist organization, right? But you brought up the movie, and here's the thing: you remember Brother Baines in the movie?
I
Brother
believe so. That
Baines.
is that who Jamie Foxx played?
No, Brother Baines was the brother he met in prison.
Oh
Who?
yes, yes,
Yeah, that's a
yes.
completely fictional person. That person did not exist, and that's why we have to be
Really?
careful when we watch the movies. Brother Malcolm. Oh, I'm talking about the movie X. Brother Baines and X in the movie Malcolm X.
Oh yeah, he
Uh,
brought him to
yeah.
Islam.
Not the Muhammad Ali movie, but the brother Malcolm.
Gotcha,
So when
gotcha.
you brought up the Muhammad Ali movie, it made me want to say that we have to be careful because Hollywood will, you know, they're trying to tell a life story in 2 hours. But
Mm,
Brother Baines was not a real person. Malcolm came to the Nation of Islam from his brothers and sisters who were already members of the Nation of Islam, right? So they're writing to him about Elijah Muhammad, and they're writing to him about the Nation of Islam, and that's how Malcolm gets introduced. But we have this Brother Baines character, right, who is created really to tell a story, right? Because later on in the movie, Brother Baines becomes this adversary of Brother Malcolm, and he's whispering to Elijah Muhammad, oh, Malcolm thinks he's bigger than the nation or whatever have you. So we have to be careful with those Hollywood scripts, right? Great entertainment, but not necessarily history. For instance, right, when we talk about Brother Malcolm and we talk about Brother Muhammad Ali, we have to remember that it was Muhammad Ali who said anyone who goes against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is worthy of death. And that was in response to a question about Brother Malcolm.
Oh,
right? So that is how firm his support was for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said that Malcolm was worthy of death, right?
Wow.
Nowadays they try to pin a lot of stuff on Farrakhan for the stuff he said, but we forget that Muhammad Ali was far bigger than Farrakhan ever was, especially at that time. Muhammad Ali was the most famous American on the planet Earth, right?
Yeah.
So, and by him saying that, I think he said that was the only thing in life that he ever regretted when he turned his back on Brother Malcolm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Malcolm had brought him into the nation. Malcolm was his mentor in the nation, a big brother type figure. And Malcolm at the time was in a very precarious position as it relates to the nation. There was a lot of rift going on or whatever have you. And Malcolm saw Muhammad Ali as a way of saying, to Elijah, if I can get the biggest name in the world, right, or the biggest name in the United States and the most famous American in the world, if I can get him into this nation, that could be my way of coming back in to the good graces of the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's crazy. I forgot about the part of them falling out.
Oh yeah.
And I know how serious that was. That yeah, I know how serious that was because, for Malcolm to do that at the time, he knew, I think he made a decision. He knew what was going to happen, like the consequences of that, but he was willing to stand on it because he felt firm in his belief.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the part in the movie, even if you're right, we do have to be careful with Hollywood because things are fabricated or glorified, right, just for the sake of the screenplay.
Right.
But I remember the moment where, he got the call and then he told his family not to come. Or no, he told them to come. He told them to come, right? He knew he felt like something was going to happen to him at the speech. But he decided to tell them to come anyway, right?
I believe so, yeah, because his Sister Betty Shabazz was there, and 3 of his daughters. So and that's so sad that they had to witness the death of Brother Malcolm. But when we look at Muhammad Ali and we look at both Malcolm X, my favorite public intellectual, I call him my mentor, though I've never met him, is Dr. Cornel West. And he talks all the time about learning to die. And you say, well, damn, what you talking about, Brother West? Dr. West, learning to die. And that's what Malcolm and both Muhammad Ali had fully embraced. Malcolm in the physical and Muhammad in, I guess, the financial and social death that took place for those 3 years that he was out of boxing. They were
Yeah.
willing to die, and they were learning to die not only just like a valueless death, but a valuable or invaluable death, right? Malcolm was willing to put his life on the line, not only in opposition to the Nation of Islam, but in opposition to the American government, the American empire. And the same for brother Muhammad Ali. You talk about losing millions. Why did he lose millions? Why he refused to bow down essentially to the American government and go and fight a war in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
We don't have black folk no more who are willing to die, who have learned how to die, whether it be physical or whether it be any other way, right? We have not learned. We have not learned that there's a certain dignity in that type of death. And that's why we still remember the names of Brother Malcolm. That's why we still remember the name of Muhammad Ali, right? Even above their teacher. Black folk know Muhammad Ali, they know Malcolm X, but they don't know Elijah Muhammad. Not that Elijah Muhammad wasn't willing to die, it was that his death wasn't blasted for everyone else in the world to see, right? His sacrifice. What we're really talking about is sacrifice for people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's big facts. You know, I think even if you look at like the civil rights movement and how we protested during BLM, it's like they were willing to die. They were willing to do whatever it took to get their freedom and get rights for us. You know, their blood literally granted us a lot of the freedoms we have today, right? So definitely a different breed, and that's an interesting theory. I'm gonna have to look that up. I love Cornel West. I love him, and you know who else I love that you remind me of? Michael Eric Dyson. You remind
Shout out to Dr. Dyson.
Yeah, you remind me because he blends the hip hop and then he talk. You know, he's very, very. I love watching him speak. He's a great intellectual, great public speaker, and so I'll look into that. And I agree with
those two are brilliant men. Dr. West, you know that Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is a protege of Dr. Cornel West.
Wow.
It was his mentor until they had a very public disagreement related to Barack Obama. And they have since, fallen out. But I love Dr. Dyson. I think he's a brilliant man, but I was always in the camp of Cornel West. I believe that Cornel West is right now the preeminent, not just Black intellectual, but the preeminent American intellectual, along with people like Noam Chomsky, who's in his 90s now. But very, very, I listen and read and take in Dr. West, because in 20 years after his death, we will be talking about Dr. West. Absolutely. Dr. West is a Princeton educated, Harvard employed, Union Theological Seminary employed genius who Black Americans turned their back on him. Let's not forget what happened during that Obama administration. Black Americans turned their backs on Dr. West, and now 8 years removed from the administration, people are saying the same thing, in 2002, I believe it's 2002 when, was it 2002 or 2008 when Barack was elected?
2008. Because I was there getting people. I campaigned for him on my college campus. I was getting people to vote and everything. I was excited for Obama that first term for sure.
There he is. There he is, the velvet teddy bear.
What up, my brothers? What up, my brothers? What it do?
What's going on?
What's going on?
How the new house treating you, bro?
Man, I'm getting, I'm trying to get used to it, man. I did a little shopping yesterday. Got me some groceries and silverware, dishes, pots and pans, all those little kitchen stuff. So starting to feel a little homey.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Big
Man, we in
Sabuda.
here talking about Muhammad Ali,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. Oh,
What's your
the
thoughts,
greatest.
uh, Red, on brother Muhammad?
Man, definitely an inspiration inside the boxing ring and outside the boxing ring. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I love that he was a champion. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if he lost, you know what I mean? Because now boxing is only based on not taking an L. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's so scared to lose and think that they ain't greatness. You know what I'm saying? Because they got that zero taken away. You know what I mean? And Muhammad Ali, shit, he lost a few of them and still
Yeah,
considered the greatest. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah,
That's what they need to focus on, not the Mayweather blueprint. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That ain't where it's at. You know what I mean? Not
yeah.
to take nothing away from Mayweather. You know what I mean? He's a pity pat boxer and a great defense boxer, but
Mhm.
the greatest, nah. Greatest
Yeah,
got to go through some trials and tribulations. You got to know how to bounce back once you take an
man.
L. You know what I'm saying? Adversity, adversity. If
Yeah,
you know how to come back when you down, that's what build character. That's what make you great. That's why
mhm.
that's why like Pacquiao, he's mainly a people's champion than Mayweather. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People love when they see you vulnerable like that and you go down and you get back up and you still whooping people. Man, come on. Muhammad
yeah.
Ali, man. And then outside, hey, I ain't getting drafted. You ain't
Right,
taking me. I ain't got no problem with that man. My problem is here
right.
with y'all. I mean,
Yeah.
I can keep on going on and on about Muhammad Ali.
Hey,
That's
brother,
that's
brother
what I'm.
told he told me, you my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. Yeah,
Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't going over
That's
there
not.
fighting no big con.
That's right. That's right. He stood for what man. And then in the times when he was doing it, them niggas could have took him out at any time. That's when racism was at its highest.
Yeah,
And everybody
yeah.
around him, everybody around him was dying for standing up for black people.
Yeah,
And
Absolutely.
he still was standing.
10 toes. So
Yeah.
I think this is an important segue because, well, not a segue. I wanted to kind of bring this back because we're talking about Muhammad Ali, who is a Muslim. We talked about Brother Malcolm, who is a Muslim. We got
Mm.
two Muslims on right now, Brother Khalid and myself. And I mentioned this earlier briefly because a lot of times when our South African family here, um, that I'm Muslim or whatever. I've even had people comment, "Well, that's the Arab man's religion." Or one brother told me the other
Mm.
day that Islam was in direct opposition to Pan Africanism, and I had to, give him a history lesson on William Blyden, William Elmont Blyden, I'm sorry, Edward Blyden, Edward Wilmot Blyden, who is considered the father of Pan Africanism, who embraced Pan Africanism and understood. Who embraced Pan Africanism because he saw the principles of Islam, right? And he used the principles of Islam to formulate his Pan African ideology, right? Um, we There's a history lesson that needs to be taught on how Black Americans become Muslim, right? First of all, up to 30% of the West enslaved Africans who were captured from West Africa were Muslim. So it was already in Islam is in our historical DNA, right?
Mm.
But our Islam really comes through Black nationalism and resistance through to white Christianity and white supremacy. When
Yeah.
someone said they were a Muslim in the United States, it was beyond just a religious statement. It is a political statement. It is a showing that I reject this, right? Keep in mind that radical Islam, y'all remember when they were using that term, radical Islam? They was using that after 9/11. Before 9/11, radical Islam was Minister Louis Farrakhan. Radical Islam was Malcolm X. Radical Islam was Muhammad Ali. We were the ones, we were the burden bearers, Black Muslims in America, who made it cool for our Arab brothers and sisters to be able to come out and say that they were Muslims and build their minds. 1930s when the Nation of Islam is founded, right? And again, for us, when Islam comes to us and the way we politicized and employed it as a political statement, more, not just it's a religious statement, obviously, but we employ it as a political statement. So again, when you have the Malcolms, the Muhammad Ali's, even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we can't forget that brother. What's his name? Raouf. I don't forget his name.
The basketball player.
Played basketball.
The basketball player for the Nuggets. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exactly, for the Denver Nuggets. Mahmoud Raouf, right?
Yeah.
When we say we Muslim as Black Americans, it's probably one of the most radical things that you can say, because it has been the Black Muslims, along with our Christian brothers and sisters. Let's not get twisted. Dr. King was a Christian, but it's been the Black Muslims who were the most radical. It was the H. Rap Brown is a Muslim, right?
Mike Tyson,
brother Mike Tyson Muslim. Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, if we want to start naming the famous David Chappelle Muslim, right?
Oh, yeah.
Devin Haney.
They don't publicize it as much, but I think that's for a safety reason. I don't know. I think some of them they don't put it out there as much, but they definitely are. They definitely are. Dave Chappelle, big Muslim. Most
Devin Haney.
Most Def. Who else you said, brother? Red.
Devin Haney.
I don't know.
Black American Muslim.
The new boxer, the little young boxer, lightweight.
Okay.
Oh, damn. Okay, I know who that is. He looked. He was trying.
Yeah, he's younger.
Wasn't he trying?
But that sister just said something important. She said in the 60s and 70s, you were immediately considered a communist and an agitator. If you said, when you were saying you were Muslim, you were saying, I reject. America ain't no Muslim nation. America say it's a Christian nation. America saying God we trust, and you swearing on the Bible and all of that stuff, right? Yeah. When you said you were Muslim, you were saying, I reject all that. I reject the religion that y'all forced on me. I reject how I'm supposed to turn the other cheek and all of that type of stuff. That's the Islam that we embrace. The Islam that we embrace said, fight those that fight you. That's Quran, right? And it meant something. So I understand now in the South African context, they know Islam through Arabs. So they may know Islam through Indians that came, and they don't see what how Black Americans Islam is formed. And that's why the title of the book is how Black Americans formed an Islamic expression through nationalism, right? It is far beyond just a religious statement for us. When you say you're a Muslim, you're saying something else. It's far beyond our hip hop. And I'm gonna stop talking after this. Your hip hop that y'all love so much, that we love so much, that all Islam is through all of that. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam, the universal greetings of the brothers icon. You remember Poor Righteous Teachers?
Yeah.
Rakim? What's Rakim last name?
Rakim.
Rakim Allah.
Okay. I knew
Rakim Allah.
I just know that's the Arabic name, but I didn't know his last name.
Yeah, Rakim Allah. Yeah, I mean, Islam is you mentioned like your most deaths and all of that, but go back and watch some Public Enemy interviews. Who was guarding Public Enemy? Who the people that used to be in the bow ties and doing the Nation of Islam? Even Tupac had some nation around them. A couple of a lot of those brothers definitely
Islam is embedded in hip hop for sure.
Embedded.
For
To me,
sure.
it is the official religion of at least a portion of hip hop, right? Before hip hop came to the South, right? The South is when hip hop. We got like the Goody Mobs and that kind of Southern Christian influence. But even if you go watch this. I don't know how big a Goody Mob fans y'all are, but Goody Mob's second album, they had a song that says Inshallah, Inshallah, Inshallah.
Yeah.
Right? And in the middle of the song, they say to the beneficent and merciful, to whom all praises is due. They quote the whole Fatiha.
Wow.
The whole beginning of the Quran. They read it in English.
Wow.
Man. This Islam thing run deep in terms of how we express Islam. And it goes with the way Black folk express Christianity in America. The way they teach Christianity in the white church ain't the way we teach Christianity in the Black church. They talking about we talk about the redemptive power and the saving power of Jesus, as well as the liberating power of Jesus. He who is free through the Son is free indeed. Is what Black Christians talk about. You got Dr. James Cone and Black liberation theology, who wrote his liberation theology as a response to the Nation of Islam and Malcolm's Black Islamic theology, right?
Wow.
Our Black churches it was the Black church, while the white church was watching us get lynched, and they going out there and taking their families watching us get lynched. It was the Black church that was fighting against lynching, fighting against rape. You understand what I'm saying? That it was the Black church that was the center of the civil rights movement, right? So even our Christian expression has been part of our political expression, but not as much as with this Islam. Islam was a rejection.
Yeah. No, that's true, man.
Yo, I think I feel like I need my glasses off.
I know.
let me get in tune and shit, so I can feel liberated and logical and shit like that. Big Smoke can adapt to anything. I can adapt to anything, damn it.
Look, this ain't Islam. But let me tell y'all something. We on some intellectual stuff today. Y'all go pick up anything by this man.
Okay. Is that what you posted before?
France.
No, I posted before. I was reading Steve Biko. Was he France for Nine?
So France for Nine.
Go get y'all some France. If y'all ain't up on France for Nine and decolonization of the Black mind and wretched of the earth. See, we got some giants that done already laid the game for us. See, you can be gangster, and I ain't got no problem being gangster. I come from a gangster era, right? You know, all of us got a little gangster in us, right?
Yeah, boy.
You gotta have that intellect. See, we use the street gangsters, but I'm talking about intellectual gangsters. I'm talking about people who you destroying the community. I'm talking about folks who was destroying white supremacy. Those the gangsters that I follow behind. So France for Nine, you gotta pick up a little Chancellor Williams. You gotta pick up a little Sheikh Antidio. You gotta pick up a little Francis Cress Wesleyan, right? We got some giants that we need to be on. We gotta be reading these books, man. We gotta be into that knowledge so that we can be gangster on all fronts. The easiest gangster to be is the one that can fight and shoot. That's easy.
Right.
You know, put yourself in a situation where you a gangster on every level. Gangster in your household. When I mean gangster, I mean dominant. And I mean prepared. You understand? Prepared to go to war for what is rightfully yours. So I'm gangster in my household because I'm prepared to go to war for my family. Yeah, I'm a gangster on these books because I'm prepared to go to war with white supremacy. Just like I'm prepared to go to war with them Negroes in the street too. Man, go ahead. Red got him some couches and everything in there now.
He out here flexing on us. It looked like
Mm,
Belly. You
I
see,
like that. I like
Belly
that.
when DMX had the had the white couch. Wow, man.
Oh, he got the fireplace jumping. Oh, I like
Where
that
the
seat by the fireplace though, bro.
where the rose petals leading up to the bedroom? You got the rose petals.
Hey, I'm gonna get it together. It's a slow process. Slow process, man. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you this.
Okay. Hold up, that's the bed frame?
That's the bed frame, bro.
Wow, chocolate with the I don't even know what you call that, but that's beautiful. That's suede. That's suede.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
awesome. Wow.
You already know some
yeah.
silk sheets
Yeah.
about to come up on that mud.
That's gonna be your album cover. that's
Oh
gonna be
man,
your album.
Sandra, so much. I love pray Allah. She says, I pray Allah keep my soul and heart clean. Pray the same thing again for all of my team. Most deaf facts. The founders in New York were the founders of the Muslim connection to hip hop. Facts. So we got to talk about. So we talk about like Islam, and one of my professors who actually used my book at Harvard said that when you talk about Islam, we got to talk about Islams with an S, because we know that theologically we say there's only one Islam. That's it. But the truth is, the expression comes in so many different ways. But the 5% nation of Islam, or the 5% nation of gods and earth, or the nation of gods and earth, uh, were offshoot Islam, right? They took the teaching, Brother Clarence 13X took the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, what they call the lessons, supreme wisdom, supreme mathematics, and he brought it to the street, because the Nation of Islam is a disciplined organization, right? You ain't smoking, you ain't drinking, you really ain't cussing, like it's a military structure. You have a captain, you have leaders, you have orders, right? But Clarence 13X, they say he couldn't stop shooting, he couldn't stop smoking weed, drinking, or whatever have you. So he took the lessons to the community, to like the brothers on the corner and in the jailhouses. And he took it to Black and Latinos, because the Nation of Islam was very, very Black stuff. But yeah, they were kind of as the sister said, the connection, like this Islamic, at least the lingo, the word analogy, came from the nation. That's why we talk about peace, God, right? We get that from the nation of gods and earth. When we say peace, God, that comes from the nation of gods and earth, filtered from the Nation of Islam, right? That's not Islamic. You can't go to Mecca, Medina, Istanbul, and all them other places talking about peace, God. They don't know what that means. That's Black Islamic expression. That comes from us. That's the bean pie. That's why the book is called Bismillah and Bean Pies. When Black folks think about bean pies, that's a Muslim thing. They don't eat bean pies in the Middle East. That's something that we created as a Muslim expression, right? You ever witnessed a report like this?
They be out there selling the morning call and the bean pie with the boats.
The final call.
The final call.
Final call, yeah. And before the final call, it was the Muhammad speaks. Yeah. You ever witnessed a report like this before? It's caused y'all to kiss the floor, say Bismillah, Rakim flow forever. Facts, man. Rakim had a song called Don't Get One of those closest. The closest one in the States? I don't got one. You talking about the girlfriend?
Yeah, they talking about, let me see. I ain't got one.
You putting out the disclaimer. I see you.
Yeah. The closest one I got to that is Erica in the States. That's it. And she's a diamond. And one thing about diamonds, hey, you gotta dig the good stuff. You gotta keep hitting,
Right.
because when motherfuckers see what you got, hey, it's over, G. It's
I,
over.
Right.
So
I feel it.
yeah,
Yeah.
keep my
Big
diamond in the
old
ground.
fact. Alhamdulillah, brother. Preach that.
Yeah.
Somebody she said that big pies on 79th and Stone. That must be Chicago. That's Chicago she talking about, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, because when I think of Islam in York, I think fifth with Mecca School in Harlem and all of that. That's Malcolm X Boulevard, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X out that way.
Um,
Man, any
it,
more comments on this day?
I don't think so.
I'm
What?
sure. I'm looking at.
Yes, in Chicago. Sandra is saying. It was something else that I
Yeah,
wanted to
Chicago.
say, and I forgot now. But we talked about brother Muhammad Ali. Talked about brother Malcolm. Um, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I got something for y'all.
What's up?
I got something for us. All right, you know we love to talk about our top five as next level facts. The Ali Museum in Louisville. Yeah. We talk about our top five favorite rappers. Man, who are our top favorite black leaders, favorite black intellectuals, or favorite uh, black folk, black history makers, or whatever have you?
Yes, yes. Um,
Mm,
so I'll say
never
no,
thought about that.
no particular order. Um, do y'all know 19 Keys?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
I
listened
know
to him. I
19
listened
Keys.
to
He
him.
Muslim too. He Muslim
yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah. He fly with it too. I like how he does it because he's hacking culture. He's appealing to people in a way where he knows they'll listen instead of just, you know, you gotta tap into the mind of the generation that you're trying to target, or they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to hear you. But he'll put the fly glasses on and
Hey,
everything,
he
and
make me want to get one of those.
yeah, he sells
Yeah,
them.
he got the little, and you see he had a star and
I
a crescent
see.
on that Islamic
Yeah,
star and a crescent.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he is nation. Because he talks about, I think he met up with Farrakhan, and he talks about how much game he learned from him. But yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, 19 Keys, Mark Lamont Hill, another great brother. You familiar with Mark Lamont?
Man, definitely familiar with Dr. Hill, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Morehouse
Doc,
graduate, or
Doc,
attended Morehouse, went to Temple, left Temple, came back to Morehouse as a professor. Uh,
yes, sir.
Uncle Bobby's bookstore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I would throw him up in there. Um, if we go hip hop, I say at this the newer
Leave them
generation.
rap niggas out of it. We don't want no rappers. We
Okay,
want to
okay.
talk about
He was
we want to talk
okay.
about
All right,
leaders.
that's fine. He was a leader though. I'll I'll
Who that?
I'll just say
KRS
honorable
One.
mention Nipsey Hussle. Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Shout out to brother Nipsey. Shout out to brother Nipsey.
Yeah, what he did was incredible. I watched it. I believe in some of the theories of why he's no longer here because he built his property is multi-million dollar property now. And he was
Mm,
building low income housing on that property because LA was planning to run a train on that street, which 3 years now later is built, right? But he already knew years ahead what was happening and he was raising the property value in his community. So I'll say
mm,
honorable mention for him. And I think it was incentives for certain people to not want him here and to be able to have that property. Um,
mm.
Another great leader that's black, that's not a hip hop. I'll say Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. He's another one I would put up there. Uh, man, it's general. I'm trying to think of some of the new ones because a lot of them I grew up on, but like some of the new brothers, um, or sisters. I'm drawing a blank. Y'all, though, you go. One of you throw yours out there, and I'll come back with my other two. That's my three right now.
All right.
I
Ronnie?
like I like Dick Gregory. I really like Dick Gregory.
Mm,
That was
mm.
one. He said what he had to say. He didn't care what you felt, what you thought. Hey, that nigga make you feel bad, and at the same time make you feel like, man, this nigga knows so much, man. He knows so much. He was on this stuff, and then at the same time a comedian. I'm like, man,
Right.
that's tight. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's see, who else? Let me see, who else? I don't want to name the obvious, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther. Like I, I don't know, like man, that's a hard one. That's a hard thing to ask on the spot, Doctor
Yeah.
Assad.
You
Hey,
gotta get out.
Doctor Assad is one of mine.
Stop, Doctor Side ain't done nothing
Doctor
yet.
Assad, my real life superhero.
Let's go.
Put the crown on
I
your head,
appreciate
brother.
that.
Put the crown on your head.
As
This
Muslims, we
this
would
this
say
real.
praises due to Allah.
That's right. This I'm talking about realistic people. My pastor, he long gone. You know what I mean? He taught me a lot about. I'm going realistic people that I know that influence me. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I'm being serious though, Doctor Sai. I ain't been cool with no doctor or no Muslim. I ain't never ran into people like you before. So, I'll be trying to pick your brain like you're on a whole different level, bro. So you get your flowers while you're here, man. For
Man,
sure.
hey, bro.
Absolutely.
Man, I sure do appreciate that, and I'm inspired by you as well as brother Khalees. I just want that to be known. We inspiring each other because what they say, iron sharpens iron. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? Iron
Facts.
sharpens iron.
Mm.
Somebody
Facts.
asked, are we only talking about new school dudes or old school as well? I think any school. Right now, we talking about goat status. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll jump in. So, and I got explanations for each of mine because I think when we talk about, and I'm gonna go national and international. So
Mm.
first is Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You say, well, why, brother? Because we wouldn't be talking about Malcolm X if it wasn't for Elijah Muhammad. We wouldn't
Mm.
be talking about Muhammad Ali if it wasn't for Elijah Muhammad. We wouldn't be talking about Minister Farrakhan if it wasn't for Elijah Muhammad or my Imam Wardim Muhammad. We wouldn't be, that's Elijah Muhammad's biological son. We wouldn't be talking about these folk had not it been for Elijah Muhammad and and the path that he laid down. It may have been controversial, it may have been complicated, it may have been textured and checkered, but he laid down a path and a foundation that have us looking at his students as giants. We're looking at his students. Muhammad Ali is a student of Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm is a student of Elijah Muhammad. So you can't look at the students and then be like, well, the teacher who no. So Elijah was the teacher. That's my number one.
Mm.
Obviously, we got to go with Dr. King, right? We always hear the comparison between Malcolm and Martin, whatever have you, but it's really a comparison between Martin and Elijah Muhammad, right?
Mm.
Elijah was the one who built the. Dr. King has Southern Christian Leadership Council (SCLC). He had, you know, the Montgomery Improvement Association. He built organizations. Elijah Muhammad built organizations. Shout out to Medgar Evers, Mississippi born, right? Shout out to Medgar Evers, who was willing to die, and he did. He gave his life for Black people. But he don't make my top. He don't make. Shout out to Brother Medgar. Somebody talking about Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was a
Yes.
Muslim before he left. He was a student of Elijah Muhammad. Dr. Sebi.
I see a pattern. I see a pattern. I see a pattern here.
There's a pattern here, man. Yeah. But so I go with Martin King, Dr. King, Kwame Nkrumah, right? Our great Ghanaian brother, right? Who is the first president of a free country on the continent of Africa, free of post-colonial country on the continent of Africa, a firm believer in Pan-Africanism,
Yes.
right? Obviously, who I say all the time, Dr. West. Dr. West. Somebody said, I noticed y'all didn't mention Jesse. Y'all can't, no, I don't play with Jesse. Jesse was a brilliant Black man who ran for president of the United States twice and was a serious candidate, right? Now we can question his some of his politics, but he is a brilliant Black man, and I would never take nothing from Jesse. Shout out to brother Jesse Jackson, member Omega Psi Phi fraternity. But I would have to go with Dr. Cornel West as a public intellectual of our time, one who has been consistent for the last 40 years in his position against anti-imperialism, anti-racism, anti-white supremacy, all forms of bigotry, anti-capitalism, standing against neo-colonialism and radical right-wing ideology. So I believe he's just a brilliant person, and I do believe that 20 years after his death, we will look back like we were talking about, maybe not Malcolm and Martin, but we will look back and say, man, this man contributed so much to the intellectual growth of not just Black Americans, but people worldwide. Steve Biko says we in South Africa, Black consciousness movement, inspired by the likes of Brother Malcolm. Wait a minute, if you're inspired by Malcolm, you're inspired by Elijah too. So there's another connection there. But Steve Biko, our brilliant South African brother, murdered by this vicious apartheid system. He was willing to die. We're going back to that, willing to die, right? And he learned how to die. I mentioned France Fanon, right? France Fanon, brother. I mean, like, this brother's a psychiatrist. And another psychiatrist I would like to mention, Dr. Francis Cress Wessling, the ISIS papers, right? So those are the people that I'm going to read and study and be like learning from. There's so many other great Black. You mentioned Mark Lamont Hill, who was one of our present public intellectual. I don't agree with a lot of Mark. I think he's far too liberal for me. Brother, watch this. Dr. Umar is a brilliant brother too now.
Yes.
That's who I was gonna name.
We can throw him up in it. Yeah, I was thinking.
Dr. Umar's a brilliant brother. He don't need to be in them categories of people I just named, but in terms of being unapologetically Black and loving Black people and speaking on behalf of Pan-African orientation.
Yeah,
you know, he is the loudest voice that we have. That's probably the most authentic. And let me tell you, Sister Rosa. Yeah, Sister Rosa. You know that Sister Rosa left Alabama, moved to Detroit, and worked with Brother Malcolm. See, that's a part of the history people don't know.
That's crazy.
Right?
I didn't know that one. Dr. Sebi is the only man. Oh yeah, I saw that over his medical treatments. I always wondered that. Did they really Did he win because he proved that he could cure HIV, or he won off a technicality? Like it was able, like they were able to not prove him wrong versus him proving that he could cure it.
Well, look, the proof is in the pudding. Is the shit cured? Is it
I'm,
really the, you know what I'm saying? Like, is
I
it
mean,
cured or not? If it ain't cured, then he
I,
ain't cured now.
I mean, Magic look good. I don't know, but
But
hold up,
Y'all sleeping on can y'all hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Like Dr. Asad stood.
He's frozen.
You know somebody I I'm trying not to cuss. You know somebody I met some hit real hard that I was gonna go see in Oklahoma. David Banner. I
Oh,
mess with David Banner.
David is amazing.
Yeah, I like his turnaround.
He
But
does.
yeah, David Banner.
I know. Doc was saying no rappers, but some of them have kind of transitioned into more than. Like David is not just a rapper anymore. You know what I mean?
Nah.
He's scoring movies. He's doing all kind
Yeah.
of the community when it comes to activism. He writing books.
Yeah.
So I think when those brothers transcend whatever their original celebrity status was, like, oh, you're just this, I think we gotta acknowledge that. I would love, for me personally, I would love to throw Kanye in there. I know he does some controversial stuff, but you know, I saw Dr. Umar talking about how much hate Kanye said for saying what he said about Jewish people running the industry, and that he was willing to lose millions, if not billions, for, you know, with his deal for saying it. I think it's something to be said about that. As much as people like to say care about black people, I'm like, why would he risk that? Why would he put that on the line if he doesn't? You know what I mean? When he was talking about George Bush don't care about black people. Like, I think Kanye, he's not just a rapper. If for my generation, I think he's one of those, for me, that has done some things that hasn't been done. And, you know, I think everybody has stuff you could say about him. You know what I mean? But he's one of the most influential for me as far as black leaders. And what he's doing in the tech space.
He influential. Yeah, he influential. I don't know. Subekwe, I believe that's how you say it. Robert Subekwe, I believe. I might be saying that wrong, so let me stop saying that out loud.
Philo, what up, Stu?
Shout out, Stu.
And then I had another one.
Somebody said nobody say Kanye.
Too late.
Yeah, nobody say Kanye. I'm just saying, like,
Kanye.
our brother Kanye, you know, let maybe in time I'll look back and say, well, as he grew, you know, he had some growing pains and he grew in the right. But right now, we listen to, you know, I think his philosophy, for lack of a better term, is not cohesive, right? I think it's very sporadic and very just kind of out there. Maybe the results of some mental health. Obviously, he does have some mental health concerns. So I'm not too sure. Influence. You use the word influential. He's definitely influential, but I'm not quite sure if I would put him in the activist black leader category.
Okay.
In the case, what about actors turned activists?
Jim Brown.
Y'all know.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Harry Belafonte, and rest in peace, Jim Brown and Harry Belafonte.
Yes.
But Harry Belafonte paid for Dr. King's funeral.
Oh, that's
right. And was uninvited by Coretta Scott King.
What?
Damn.
Paid for the funeral. He was Harry Belafonte, Aretha Franklin. They were bailing out. You know, all the people go to jail during those movements and stuff. How you think they got
Yeah,
out of jail?
sit down, sit down.
We're
Yeah,
paying.
the sit-ins.
Sit
Yeah,
in, sit-ins.
yeah. Harry Belafonte almost single-handedly funded 90%, or I'm exaggerating now, but he funded the civil rights movement, right?
Wow,
Yeah.
Damn.
that's incredible.
Message.
Yeah,
Message.
so
What?
that's facts. We gotta know these things about our leaders, about our people, and to know how he played his role. He was an activist and he became very vocal, but he
Yeah,
knew he had the money. And that's part of the
Yeah.
problem. We got a lot of rich Negroes now, basketball
Yes.
playing Negroes and rapping Negroes and singing and dancing Negroes. But our singing and dancing Negroes back in the day, they was dancing for the white people and singing songs, and they was writing checks for Dr. King to get that work in. They was writing
Yeah.
checks to get the civil rights movement pop. You see, that's what we don't have. We got Negroes telling us how much money they have, and you ain't doing nothing for the community. You buying turkeys like for Christmas, like you Nino Brown or whatever have you, and that's not changing anything, So I
No.
appreciate brothers like LeBron James,
okay.
who has
Yes.
even if I think he is not as strong politically, he's been writing them checks. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we need them to do.
Yeah. No, LeBron definitely can be up there. I said I was going to do two more. I'll put Muhammad Ali in there, so that's 4. Like I said, no particular order, but he might be number 1 out of the ones I mentioned. And I mean, it's like I kind of feel like Ronnie, like, yeah, it's a lot of people that, Malcolm X, Elijah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, like a lot of people. But I'm trying to think of somebody from the newer generation that has like really made an impact. It's a brother named Idris Sandu, and he's Nigerian, and he worked with Nipsey for a lot of his projects. He's worked for Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff, but he worked with Nipsey for a lot of his projects, and now he's created something for Black people in tech to invest in. And it's called Spatial Labs, and I'll put it in the chat. But Spatial Lab.
Somebody else was telling me about that.
Okay, so so that brother's dope. He's working with Jay, a lot of people in music, but he's not. He's a tech guy. And I think that where we're going, if we're looking at the market and everything and digital assets, Africa probably is one of the biggest continents that utilizes crypto and digital assets, right? So I think that is the future. And I think that people that are moving in that space are going to do a lot of greatness for Black people, because a lot of times we miss out or we come late to whatever the next big thing is, or we find out by the time we're priced out. Like, for example, in California with cannabis, right? You look at who owns those shops and who has those $1 million licenses and contracts. Not a lot of people like us, right? It's few, but in the street, a lot of brothers were in the heavy. If they had the opportunity to get in early legit, a lot of new wealth, a lot of Black millionaires. So I think in the tech space, that's another opportunity for us to get in early. And it is no gatekeeper, in the sense of the gatekeeper is knowledge. If you're aware of it, you're going to win. True. Right? So I want to get that brother, put him in there, because from the new generation, I think the brother's in his late 20s. I want to say he's not even, he's just getting started. He's going to create a lot of people within the diaspora to elevate and have control over their own content, have IP, and not allow, because a lot of these apps, though we produce content for it, they own it at the end of the day. We need to have ownership within all the stuff we're creating, because this is our brilliance. Every time we're talking, you just went on you had a great speech. That's coming from you. You should be able to profit off of that or have ownership of that. We putting it out on somebody else's app. I think it's definitely going to be a time where another brother that's doing it, Isaac Hayes' son. Isaac Hayes.
I saw the brother talk. Yeah, I saw the brother talk.
Yeah. So he's creating an app for Black creators, and you have ownership of your content, and you'll be able to make residual income off your content, which is not happening in other apps. So that's something that I'm big on. And I do want to start putting out more content about. I don't really talk about it a lot in my content, but in my real life, that's something that I'm big on and I work on and I invest in and I look into, because it's important. You
mentioned brother, what's his name? 19 Keys, what's his name?
19 Keys.
There's another brother that's from New Orleans called the Wall Street Trapper. You know him?
Yep.
Yeah, that brother from the city.
Him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from the city. It's Woden Maya. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Woden Maya might be single-handedly responsible for the reawakening of the African diaspora to come to Africa, especially as it relates to social media, right? So the seeds been laid for a long time by people as far back as Garvey and Blyden and all them people. But Owen Maya jumped on this YouTube stuff and started showing different parts of Africa and started showing diasporans, whether they were African Americans or whether they're like people from Ghana who moved and came back to Ghana. And that turned so many people on to the continent. It turned, he has 1 million followers, maybe 2 now. And shoot, his girlfriend got like 500,000 followers, 500,000 subscribers, and he lives primarily off of his work from YouTube, and he's traveling the continent, really exposing. Now I know our South African family will say, well, he came here and he said some derogatory stuff about, he said something about the racism in South Africa or whatever have you. Nobody's perfect, you know what I'm saying? And people are going to have their opinions that everyone won't agree with. Right. And she said he was doing it before the pandemic. What's going on, brother Amos?
What up, Amos? What I do, bro?
Yeah.
That reminds me of the brother Go Black to Africa.
Yeah.
Go Black.
Yeah.
I listen to him too.
Yeah, he
Go
does.
Black, he offended. He has said a lot of derogatory stuff about South. So I separate them two. Like I think Wody had an opinion that didn't sit well with South Africans, but I don't think he meant anything vicious or malicious by it. But I think our brother Go Black, which I've been on his show, on his channel, and he's always been cordial and very nice or whatever have you. But I do think some of his opinions on South Africa are just vicious, and they're not necessarily rooted in anything that is
truth.
I want to be very careful because I don't want to be derogatory towards the brother, but I think that he just has some opinions that I think he needs to reassess. Let me say it like that. He has some opinions that are hurtful to many South Africans, and he needs to reassess that. At the end of the day, South Africans are Africans too, and you can't be talking about go black to Africa and then be like, I'm gonna go black to Africa, except South Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, any of these.
Doc, what you mean? You've been on his show? You've been on the episode on his channel?
Go Black? Yeah.
That's what's up.
Oh, bro, I gotta go find that joint, man.
Yeah, he did a whole interview with me and my wife. And
Oh yeah,
like I
your
said,
ass
I'll
been
say this.
everywhere.
I'm gonna say this: the brother, at the time, the brother probably had 150,000 subscribers or something crazy like that. He didn't have to give me the opportunity to be on his platform. And
Right.
I talk about South Africa. You know, there's a lot of South Africa. There's a lot of YouTubers in this space who don't have nearly as many numbers as him, who have yet to say, you know, let me bring Doc on or talk to Doc because
I
I see
don't know
that they
what's
bring him
happening with the
to
signal,
stand.
y'all. Just give us a second, please.
All right, no problem.
If you're building,
Yeah,
shout
yeah.
out. I missed did everybody freeze? Because I missed the last 10 seconds.
No, I think we back.
Nah, I think,
I think you
yeah,
froze.
Doc, you.
That's
That's why I'm saying you one of them. You one of my influences, man. Cause hey, I saw you on a lot of stuff, but I ain't see you on that. Like
Yeah, I
you
was on.
posted, you was on that show the other night. Man, I like that with you and your son. I
Same
like
man. I
that.
was so impressed with my son. I ain't gonna lie. He was sitting there looking like a grown man. He had his legs
Oh, a
crossed.
little boss, man, a little boss. And he kept his cool too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I loved him for that. I keep watching it over and over, just looking at him like, man, look at you, bro. You something else.
That's a
Yeah,
proud daddy son moment right there.
yeah. It was.
That's
I was very
that he
proud
can
of
look at, that he can go over and look at over and over again.
him.
Yeah, he handled himself very well. And he kept it 100. He was like, the only thing I miss is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So Ruben, the Jong, I think that's how he was saying, says, please don't include any of these YouTubers, please. I just gotta disagree, brother Ruben. Let me say they not definitely no YouTuber is on Malcolm's level, Martin's level, and anything like that, right? Ain't nobody made that type of impact. But in the age of social media, right? In the age of social media, you have these people who are influenced. That's what they call them. They call them influencers, right?
Yeah.
There's somebody watching the three of us sit here and talk and saying, damn, them people and move to South Africa, talking about moving to South Africa, yada, yada. And that will influence them. They'll say, man, you know what? Maybe I need to look into that. And they may not move to South Africa. They may jump up and move to Bali or whatever have you. But it just, the fact that they can see regular black folk picking up and leaving the US, you know what I'm saying, disengaging from the matrix, unplugging from the matrix and moving elsewhere. So and we technically we got small numbers. When you start talking about Wody Maya and he put out a video, get a 500,000 views or 200,000 views each time he puts it out. Let me put it to you this way: to understand it and how big it is, if you put out a video and you get 1,000 views every time you put out a video, just imagine 1,000 people in a room to come and hear you talk,
Yes.
right? That's the way you gotta see it. That's 1,000 people who you had their ears for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long your video is. You had their ears for that moment each time you put out a video. So imagine someone who's putting out a video and they get 200,000 views each time they drop a video. You don't have stadiums in the world that could hold that many people at one time, yet they have that many people who are willing to listen to them. They get 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers. And those are small numbers. You got some people here with, 20 million subscribers on YouTube and drop a video, get a
Jake
millions of views. Yeah,
Jake
that's
Paul.
influence. Jake Paul. Yeah.
That's
What's the other
my
boy
boy
name?
right there.
Andrew Tate. Look how much influence Andrew
Yeah.
Tate has, right? So I was following Go Black to Africa. South Africans challenge him as a person who doesn't verify the sources. He just picks someone in the streets and interviews him. Everybody say it is like picky. Yeah. We gotta, and that's why we gotta challenge him, But we gotta challenge the brother from a place of love, right? Because he's in this space. and he's influential, and he has people that he's trying to get him back. He's telling the name of his channel is "Go Black to Africa." You know what I'm saying? So we gotta challenge him on those things that he says that are incorrect, that may be misleading, that may be vicious. And we gotta challenge them from a place of love because the brother's in this space. I don't know. I ain't no Andrew Tate fan. I'm just talking about the level of influence this brother has.
Yes.
Right? This
brother. What's funny is that recently Andrew Tate took his shahada.
And he Muslim too.
Yeah, he Muslim too.
I didn't know the brother was black. I didn't know he was black.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was a white boy talking all this time.
Yeah. For real? He black?
His father is a award-winning chess player. He was a black man from Chicago. And
wow.
Yeah, you're right. I think that played to his advantage early on that people couldn't tell, but he don't deny it. He will tell you that he is he'll tell you he's
damn. That make me
racial ambiguity made it seem like, oh, this is a white boy talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you know, I don't know.
I think that was a response to Ruben.
The person.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, stop. Zoe. Shout out to
Zoe tripping.
Holding it down for for the queens. Zoe is a self-proclaimed black feminist. She don't like anybody that say something it can even be considered misogynistic.
Yeah. And you gotta respect women for taking that stance, you know, like you gotta respect them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah, big old facts, all praises to Allah.
Yes. We forgive.
Absolutely.
That's real though. Somebody was telling me that the other day. I was on Twitter and I was talking about something. And I actually made a video and I was talking about like Zulu slang and different languages. And some people so some people in the comments were like, yo, it's not a greeting and da da da. But like at the end of the day, like people were for sticking up for me and they were like, South African people are forgiving people. Like even if you said something, that's something minor, right? That's something that you know. But even if you say something that could be considered offensive, they'll at least hear you out and give you a chance to make up for it. It's not like we cancel him for life and we hate you.
Right.
Or they may be upset and they express that, but they're forgiving people that they're willing to, if you're able to accept the criticism and maybe correct yourself or have some kind of public discussion about it, then you can come back to a level of understanding and they'll still be loyal to you, especially if they're within your fan base. They'll still be loyal.
They did the same thing with Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar was on the Breakfast Club and he said that Mandarin was an official language in South Africa or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was incorrect. I don't know if it's like Mandarin is being taught in certain schools. I don't know, but he said that, and a lot of South Africans were mad. He went a few places and tried to correct himself. And as you can see, when he came back, he was just here last week. That he was warmly received, and he was on the Black Pen show, and I watched that video. And I read the comments, and they were just like, "Oh, we love this brother," you know, blah blah blah. And every once in a while, somebody say, "Well, he said this about South Africa," and you could see somebody respond and say, "Well, he just mentioned in fact, on that same video, he made the clarification or whatever he was trying to say."
Yeah.
You know, but excuse me, man, but you got to respect. Everybody's going to make mistakes and missteps and say something that, oh, I didn't say that just right, you know, or correct.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just have misinformation and you think it's correct and you quote it and you say it and then come to find out it's not, you know. But that's the risk you take when you are willing to open your mouth in public.
Yeah. And they definitely had your back on there, Khalees. That lady had your back. 10 toes down.
You saw that?
Yes. She wasn't playing about you, bro.
Not playing.
What you said? You said that yo was
A greeting.
greeting.
Yeah, so I said it's a greeting and it's a form of expression for like excitement, and then it's also if something bad happens, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people like, oh, it's not a greeting, it's not a greeting. And she came and defended me, and she said basically it depends on what part of South Africa you're from. Certain parts of Joburg will use it, but then Pretoria will do it this way. So it's almost like dialect. Like, yeah, it's the same language, but it's different dialects. Yeah, it's the same slang, but depending on where your location is, people use it differently.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I thought you was talking about yo, like how we used to say yo back then, yo MTV raps. You know what I'm saying? We used and yo was definitely agreeing. What up, yo? That was definitely agreeing
Right.
in Black America.
Yeah.
So I was like, what?
Yeah. No, their
Yeah,
yo
peace
is
out,
yo,
Melissa.
yo. That's their yo.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I got a Zulu teacher or a Zulu tutor now, so I'm trying to do more educational content and put myself out there more than just the funny stuff and vlogging and all.
Yeah, I'm about to
That's
get me a
what we
Zulu
do.
tutor too, man. I think I'm gonna learn a little Zulu so that I can at least learn some
Me
greetings
too.
and responses. A lot of
Yeah,
side civilization where the J. Paul can sell a tin of glucose at premium prices and talk absolute toenails in their shows to millions, while the Muslim brothers got 36 heads ducking bombs. I don't know what that means. About the Muslim brother got
I,
36 heads ducking bombs, but I don't know. But he's right. I mean, in terms of Jake Paul. But I mean, you're gonna have people who gain influence. Listen, Hitler was influential. That's how you get. That's how you raise an army to go and have people commit an atrocity,
that's a
right?
fact.
So you're gonna have somebody who's gonna always use influence improperly.
That is
Somebody
a
says
fact.
Andrew Tate's father was a black Air Force sergeant. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Real old facts. I know, yeah.
Mm.
One of them light skinned brothers, one of them
You know what?
I might pass for white brothers if I can.
Elder Barges.
Not the elder
What?
Barges, I hate you. Oh no, you're
Now
wild.
that was a bad brother. I don't care what y'all say. Like people don't give El his props for his vocals now. Elder Barge could sing us behind. I don't know about now, but back in the
You still got
day,
it.
yeah,
He still can.
I saw him perform last year.
He still got it.
he still got it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
We was say Zoe was there with me. What's his name? The dude from Chicago. What's the comedian name? Zoe. He called her. He reached out to Zoe and he called her Shaka Khan, because Zoe used to have an afro before she cut her hair. She had this big afro. He's like, "What's up, Shaka Khan?"
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's I don't know if Shaka Khan Muslim. She sure got one of them. Well, it sound Farsi like Khan and like Genghis Khan and those you find that name. A lot of Muslims have that name in India and Pakistan, the desert Muslims and stuff like that. So I
Hey,
don't know.
y'all want to talk about? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother.
Y'all want to talk about something that's a little bit off subject? Shaka
yeah, no,
Khan
go on.
and Donna Summers was bad as that thing back in the days. Woo.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Shaka Khan and Donna Summers was bad.
Yeah, definitely Donna. I
Yes,
like
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. You know what?
Yeah, both of them some baddies back in the day.
People sleep, but Patty was bad to me. Patty, Patty, she saw them pies, but
Oh, I think Ronnie talking about looks. He talking about looks.
Yeah, I'm talking about looks. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Listen, Zoe is on the lighter side, but I like Chocolate Sisters. I thought Patty I like me a Kelly Rowland. I like me a
Okay.
Who's the girl that we be jonesing about on the new Fresh Prince? The
Dark
chocolate.
Skin Hillary. That's what I call her. I don't even know her real name. Coco. Coco is her real name. Dark Skin Hillary. Shout out to Dark Skin Hillary, man.
Shout out to Dark Skin Hillary.
I love that, man. I love that they put that dark skin sister in there like that, man.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I love that. Shaka Khan's name is Yvette Stevens. My brother went to high school there in Chicago. Okay. Yeah.
Shout out to
Zoe said, wait, what?
Shout out to the
You put your foot in your mouth, nigga. I mean, my bad. I'm trying not to say that damn
word. Look, we can have a quota. You can say one per episode. One.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, where I'm from, we use that like man, it's yes.
Look, y'all gonna have as stuff progress, everybody's gonna have their own side things. You can have a side show where every other word is that. We all still got our own brand, so you can get it out your system. And then the next day, we come together and then we.
Yeah, we did that live the other day with Jay and Ronnie was on there. I was like, man, we need to have like a relationship show. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, like a relationship live where we talk about dating in South Africa and all that good stuff.
Don't
hurt him, son.
Right. Hey, I didn't want no smoke with Jay. You hear me, Doc? I didn't want no smoke with Jay. I toned it down all night, bro. Because I could have said a lot. Hey, Jay from over on the East Coast, I could see it in her face. She don't play. She don't play. When I met her, I saw that she didn't play.
And our people from New Orleans, so she got it bad.
She don't. Yeah. She got it bad. Sisters. I could tell, so I had to tone it all the way down. I'm not about to go toe to toe with this woman.
No, I respected how you handled that, Red. I seen the moment out, and I respected that.
Yeah. Hey, I know a sister when I see a sister.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
But yeah, I would love that aside. Having some other, because like I said, like on my channel, I do try to stay within a different niche, but it is other stuff that I would love to talk about. And I think that's something that people will want to hear. Like a relationship show, definitely have more women, because I think we only had Jay, but have some more women on and we can kind of really have a well-versed discussion.
They talking about
to answer this question, when the reality show come out, we'll definitely see Adrian and Carla on the show. But yeah, Adrian will be about doing a whole bunch of lives and all that for too long. She up there and watch. Boy, we had us a good time. We went out to Four Ways Farmers Market or Four Ways Market or whatever it's called.
That was by my way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not in Four Ways no more. I don't even know what part of town it is, man, but it's 20 minutes from me. And I thought it was over there by you, over there by Dane Fern. So I jumped on Main Road, and once I turned on William Nicole, I said, let me put it in my thing and see where it's at. That's 25 minutes away. I said, well, damn. I was off.
It might be the
one. A super queen. Yeah.
Doc, you sure it wasn't Rosebank? Because I
know
no,
what Rosebank Market is. This Four Ways, man. They be having music out there. They got two sides where they be playing fast music like Amapiano, and then they play on the other side. They have like a acoustic kind of. It's food and everything.
Where was this at?
Four Ways Market. Yeah, it's every Saturday.
I gotta get.
Say, bro. Hey, next week me and you'll go out there, bro. We'll go out there.
Boy.
Nice.
No, either Saturday or Sunday. I like Sundays a little bit better. But yeah, I'm talking about the doors close at 5, but you know we just left out there about must have been about 7:30 or something like that, maybe 7. But there was still people out there, man, and it's every Saturday and Sunday. Cool vibe. I'm talking about. Look, I posted a video on my shorts. Check out my shorts. You'll see, man, it's a whole vibe out there, man. Whole vibe.
Oh yeah, I gotta check that
Yeah,
out there.
it probably I don't know. I would say it might be 1,000 people out there every week, like on every Saturday and then every Sunday another 1,000 people. Yeah.
Wow. Let's go.
So everybody want to have a relationship show, but I don't want no parts of that. Want no parts of that.
Well, you know what the Bible say now, big brother. You know what the Bible say now. When a man find a wife, you find a good thing.
Good thing.
Good thing. And then the second part of that people don't pay attention to is that it says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains the favor of the Lord. That's the key to that verse. It ain't just finding a good thing, you know, it's what happens. So in Islam, we say that marriage is half of the faith. It's half of the deen.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not pressuring Brother Ryan, you know what you want to do. But I'll tell you another exegetical understanding of that is that the Bible say when a man find a wife, he find a good thing. But the key is that she's a wife when he already finds her. She already planned. She already got that wife orientation when she's found. You see what I'm saying? She don't become a wife. She a man meet her as a wife, willing to do the things that a wife is supposed to do.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Zoe's asking.
Was it hard to learn, Josie? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I was just saying. I think for me to come back to that place, you know what I'm saying? I done tried marriage twice, man, and I realized it was me. You know what I mean? And now I'm all about learning me. And I feel like I'm so far away from marriage, you know what I mean? Because I don't even look at marriage the same way anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if a woman comes to me and it comes to a place of marriage, it'll have to be a miracle. You know what I'm saying? Because now that I've learned myself, and it ain't about being a whore or nothing like that. It's a lot about what I prefer, my space, my time, the things that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Finding somebody that's on that same page as you, that's hard. It's so hard, and it takes a lot of work and energy. And I'm not at a place in my life I'm not willing to dedicate all that time to somebody else.
And that's maturity.
I'm dedicating time to myself.
But that's maturity. It's better to be like that than to get into a marriage or something with somebody when you know you're not ready nor prepared, right?
And hurt them.
Right.
Yeah, I did that before. So I ain't on that no more. So now it's just like it's a whole different level. But that's off the subject, you know.
She say, no, it wasn't hard to learn to drive in Josie. Speaking of wives, my wife in 2019 decided it was a good idea that when we flew into Johannesburg to rent a car and to drive 5.5 hours. Stay right there. I'm gonna come back to that one, Dr. Bennett. To drive 5.5 hours from Josie to Kruger National Park. I had never driven on the other side of the road. I jumped in the car with the steering wheel on the other side, and that's how I learned to drive. It took me a good hour to get into it, but after that, it wasn't no big old deal. I mean, at the end of the day, you just don't hit nothing. Just avoid hitting stuff and stop when other people stop and go when other people go.
Yeah, they told me to follow the people in front of you.
That's all you do. Follow the people in front of you. And once you orient yourself to the turning and how you're supposed to maneuver coming from that side, it don't take that long.
I'm
Somebody
still
said, "You
scared.
on the side, how is Dr. Bennett and his family?" I just talked to Dr. Bennett on maybe Thursday or Friday. We talked via Facebook Messenger, and he should be back out here. I think he said he'll be out here July 9th is what he's hoping. He said he'll let me know when he booked the flight, but he's doing well, man. His family is doing good, which is great. He's been looking into schools for his son because he has a son going into the 11th grade. So when they make the move out here, he wants to have the schools and everything set, already squared away. So when he comes out here in July, I think that's part of his mission. Is not just to come out here and hang out and have a good time, but it's to kind of get some of the logistical stuff out of the way, visit the schools, and see what neighborhoods they're really interested in staying in and all that good stuff. So Dr. Bennett is doing well, man. That's my brother.
Oh, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get me some food in my stomach. I ain't ate nothing today.
I feel you, big brother. Have a good one, man. We'll go out there next week, bro.
Yes, sir. I'm with it, brother. I'll see y'all later. All right, Khalees,
All right.
man.
Yeah,
I'll check you, bro.
For sure,
Man,
brother.
what state sitting them at, bro? They not jumping on today?
Nah,
They cooking.
they handling the business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right, my
so
brother.
are we having our little thing that we do after this up?
I mean, if we do, it's just gonna be me and you because I guess Ronnie is out and whatchamacallit, Dr. Nikki is not coming through.
Yeah, because she about to get on a plane today, like tomorrow or the next day. What's the day? The 4th? She get on a plane
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just holler at you in the chat if I can think of any concerns we have. And if you have any, we can do that and we can determine whether we should have like a short one today.
Okay, cool. Because I did want to ask about. I put in the thing about would y'all be interested in doing. I don't know. I don't want to say it now, but I put it in the chat a couple of days ago, and I think Nikki responded. Nikki responded, but I don't know if anybody else saw it. So.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. I have to go look.
Yeah, we might have an opportunity to do something I think would be cool. So we'll check that out. If not, we can just wait till next week for it. But shoot, I guess we've been on here going on 2 hours. I guess we might as well wrap it up and say
Absolutely. Now, thank you, brother Assad, for coming through. It was an amazing show. We got to talk about brother Muhammad Ali and his life and all the great things he did, and a lot of Black leaders that have inspired us individually. Thank you all for coming through, and we I got nothing but love for y'all. We got nothing but love for y'all, and hopefully we'll see you next Sunday at the same time. It'll be 8 p.m. South African time, 11 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. And if you're on the East Coast, that is 2 p.m. your time. But yeah, much love to y'all. Shop. Peace from Khalees. Dr. Assad, what you got for the people?
that's it. Just peace, man, and love all y'all, man, and we'll see y'all soon.
Absolutely.
All right,
Peace.
fam.
Peace, fam.